Hello, what's going on, my peeps? We got 3 videos in. Ooh, that was not cute. But we ain't gonna edit it. So, hey y'all, what's up, peeps? This is going on 3 videos in a row today. Go watch the other videos if you haven't. So for this video, I posted a serious one before, but now it's time to get a little bit one that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. And so we're going to talk about clickbait. Why clickbait and not the other 50 million shows that I have watched in biz? Because this one I just watched recently, and I'm like, might as well make a video out of it. And so, clickbait is a show on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix series also. I don't know. But there are spoilers in this video. Obviously, it's a review of the show and talking about what's actually in it. So, spoiler alert. What's his name? Nick. Let me make sure. Nick was still wrong, even though he didn't do every single thing that they said that he did in the show. He was still wrong. I don't care what y'all say. Come at me, fight me. Let's talk about it. He was still wrong because even before the crazy lady actually started doing all this stuff, I don't care what anybody says, she got the idea when he was talking about his wife or whatever and talking about family and all this kind of stuff. He has a picture of his whole family and all this stuff, and a notification came up on his phone and they had talked about bikinis and all that stuff. He was still wrong. Sis was still wrong. Sis sealed his fate the day he did that, and that lady popped up on the notification. It wasn't until, I can't say that the lady wasn't crazy and she did all this other crap, but at the end of the day, she started getting those. No normal person who sees that should automatically be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna take over this entire person's life and mess it up even more and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Nikki was wrong. Nikki still got, I don't know if him doing what he did, should have ended in his death. But, it is what it is. One thing led to another. Nick was wrong. Nick was wrong. No one can tell me different. Get mad. Get off this video. Give this video a thumbs down if you didn't like what I got to say. Then move on. But Nick was wrong. Anyway, so first episode was it the sister, Pia. I liked Pia. Pia was a hot mess, but she was giving everybody everything. And I like how in the show, first and foremost, even after he was doing all this stuff or whatever and accused of all these things, whether the evidence was legit or not, Netflix did a good job with the show and having it be realistic. Because in real life, if something happens to a sibling or whatever, God forbid that happens, but if something happens, we as siblings, because I'm a sibling myself, the oldest of the two, it doesn't matter what that person did. The thing is, I don't care what they did. They dead now. I want to know who killed that person, because at the end of the day, killing is still wrong, isn't it? That's what people are saying. So let's make it even and fair to all parties. She was like, I don't care what this happened. I get that this happened. Mama, we just gonna have to accept that Nikki did some bad things. But we still want to know what happened, who did this to him. Anyway, so Pia was giving everybody everything. Pia was a hot mess. She had some issues. But girl was like up there though. Sis still had a nice job. She was still doing things. So I don't know, I gotta give it to her. She's a hot mess in her outside life, but she was a beast in her work life. I don't know, I gotta say it. Pia was on top of it. Pia was everything. I don't really remember much of, she was a very strong character. I'll say that. I'm just gonna go through this how I see it. Some of you might be like, why is she doing it this way? But it is what it is. Stick with me or leave the video. So, I guess I should have done this a different way, but let's just go with it. That Pia is Nick Brewer's, I think that's what his last name is, it right? I don't know his last name. I'm like literally looking at this. Okay. Nick Brewer is this person who, you know, I'm not even gonna go into all that, because if you are here, that means that y'all should have watched the show. Or maybe you're like my sister who doesn't actually watch shows, she just watches reviews of the shows. So for those people who do that, I'm not going to give you a summary of the show. You're just going to have to pick the pieces and put them together like, oh, okay, so that's what the show is basically about. Because Kiara knows how I feel about when she does that, so here you are, Kiara. Anywho, so Pia's looking for all this information. Pia is like crazy. Pia is helping other people who is crazier than her. She's like, sis, I know you crazy, but we gonna be crazy together, I guess, but you a little bit more crazier than I am. Anywho, so that's Pia. She is the sister of Nick Brewer and the aunt of his kids. That should be a given, but anyway. And then we have the detective, Sean. That's what, I mean, this is literally the same video, the same day I'm posting all these videos. I just changed, you know, to switch stuff, whatever. And for Rashawn. Okay. Rashawn. He, I guess he and Pia, they, like, they was gonna meet up, but it didn't happen because Pia was a hot mess. But Rashawn, he is a detective. And he is also, I don't know if it's assumed that he's just separated from his wife or they're divorced or whatever, but they have a kid. Well, first of all, we need to talk about the scene where he got done doing his ritual and things like that, and he comes out and his ex-wife or whatever is there, and he sees his son. He's like, oh, okay, so, like, what's up? Like, why are you guys here? Like, I'm so happy to see you guys. Well, the son at least. And she's like, oh yeah, we're waiting for such and such. I don't remember his name. I'm like, we should just got more backstory on Rashawn's storyline, because I'm like, how was this discussed? Like, you're just parading this man around my son? We don't know him. He's not Rashawn. We want Rashawn. We don't want him, whatever he is. We don't want that dude. He has no right to be with little Rashawn, okay? But anyway, I digress to say. Rashawn, he is seemingly a hard worker. His family is a complete hot mess, but I love them. He is the main, in case people were confused, he is a detective, but he works with missing persons. And I was a little bit kind of like, oh God, here we go with the whole, like, title thing. When a missing person is no longer considered a missing person, when they're even thought to it possibly being a homicide, then that case is taken away from that person and given to homicide or whatever department then takes over. I was like, no, Rashawn, like, this can't be. We need Rashawn in our life, okay? We need Detective Amiri, okay? Amiri, however you say it. We just need him. He is just such a captivating character. To some. You know? I'm not saying necessarily me. I'm just saying he's a character that we would like to get into. We would like to know more about. Read that how you wish. But anyway, Rashawn starts working with Pia, the sister of Nick Brewer. He starts being kind of the liaison because of Pia, because Pia was like, I'll make you a deal. You do this, this, and this, and then I'll get you back on the case as a liaison. So that happens, of course. Pia's like, sure. And so then he gets put back on the case. Now, I guess Amiri Rochon is considered someone who, like, no matter what, tries to do things by himself, tries to get ahead of the game no matter who he has to push aside to get to where he needs to go. And I was like, oh, Rashawn, we can't be like that, okay? Teamwork makes the dream work, okay? Like, you need other people, I guess. That's what they say. But anyway, so we go from the detective to, I'm sorry, I'm like looking at through the wife. What's her name again? Let me see. Sophie and Nick's marriage. I hate to say it. I really do hate to say it. But Sophie, you was wrong, girl. You was wrong. You shouldn't have been doing that stuff that you did. Now, Nick, he did some things or whatever. But Sophie, girl, no. That is wrong. Cheating is wrong. It don't matter what the circumstance is. No, I mean, but that's a whole other video. But cheating is wrong. Okay? When you have the other person being faithful as well. Now, I mean, if the other person wasn't being faithful, I mean, Nick, depending on how you look at it, he did, well, how I look at it, he did go outside the marriage. Maybe not physically, but I don't know. It's up to the other person. But to me, he was still wrong. That would have been a done deal for me if I knew that he was like talking. Like, that's a no, sis, no. But anyway, but at the end of the day, Sophie was wrong. She went outside the marriage. She did the dirty. And Nick was just some broken up guy. Like, he was like, oh. He was trying. Nick was trying real hard to forgive Sophie. He really was. They was working on the marriage and everything. But it's just, this didn't happen. But I didn't even tell y'all, like, how is this even. So, we had the first episode, which was Pia, the sister. She kind of, like, ruined the relationship between her and Nick's wife, Sophie. Sophie was uptight, I guess you would say. She had, like, certain rules, like no walking around the house with your shoes on, having a coaster and stuff like that. I don't really consider that uptight. That's the same rules that my parents, well, mainly my mom, because dad, he doesn't. But Mom, that was the rule. You do not walk around the house with your shoes on because it's nasty. Having a coaster underneath your drink, that was more of Dad's thing because he didn't want the wood ruined. Like I said, like, some of the rules that, I didn't consider that an uptight person. So the fact that they kind of portrayed her that way was kind of interesting to me because I felt like that's like everyday rules. You get what I'm saying? Because, I don't know. I think it's a foundation thing. But, you know, to each his own. But we have the first episode. Pia kind of ruined the party saying, I thought we were going to get Mom this gift or whatever. And then, like, Sophie and Nick, I guess, decided to give her something else or whatever. And there was a whole thing. And then Pia got thrown out of the house. And then we come next day. And then Nick has been abducted. He's on the But y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Y'all should watch the show. If you ain't watched the show, then you better go on someone else's that's going to review the entire show. This is just talking about the characters. Okay. So, Sophie, she was wrong. She done cheated on her husband more times than not. And then she done got her husband beat up because she was with someone that she shouldn't have been with because she was outside the marriage. Moving on. Okay. We got the mistress. Emma Beasley. Emma Beasley. She was a trip. She is crazy. She's, like I said, this is a spoiler alert. Sis didn't even really meet Nick in real life. She was a liar. She done lied to all these people. She done painted Nick to be this terrible, awful person, even though I feel like they should have kept that same storyline. But it is what it is. They changed it up and said that, nah, Nick didn't do any of this stuff, even though he did step outside the marriage a little bit. But anyway, so the mistress, Emma Beasley. Oh, goodness. The earring fell out. Oh, gosh. Maybe let me try to put this back in here. I don't know. It may not be worth it to put it back in here. I don't really feel like putting it back in here. We're just going to do it for the sake of this video. I honestly should pause it. But that's not how real life is. Earrings fall out in life, and sometimes you just gotta put it back on. Anywho, so who was I talking about? Mistress Emma Beasley. She done took her upon herself to go to where that grieving wife was, and she done told this lady, I think it's important that you know that you and your husband lies. We were the ones that was actually in love. He was just so depressed in this marriage with you, and like we were actually in love. I mean, he physically told me that he was like over it. Sis was literally having hallucinations that they did the dirty, and the show was having us convinced that this actually happened, that this lady was crazy, but she was telling the truth, that this actually happened, that they were lovers, they were in love. And then it came out, it turned out to be that this girl didn't even know or recognize Nick, was it Brewer's voice. She didn't even meet him in real life. See, that's what I'm talking about. The show done play with us and done play with our emotions. I'll probably never be the same after this. I can't trust, like I told the people, I will watch the show, but I ain't gonna go back to it because they done play with the emotions. Oh, goodness gracious. And then sis, when she found out that he had other women in his life, even though she was literally a mistress herself, but when she found out that there was other mistresses, she was like, oh no, Nick is an awful person. He needs to be burned. We are gonna burn his name, burn him to the ground down, okay? And so then she burned up all of his pictures. She then went to the news station, gave her interview, and said he abuses women emotionally. The world needs to know this. Kind of find out that didn't even happen. It was this other person. Spoiler alert, it was the reception lady who did all this mess. But then again, Brewer started, he sealed his fate. He shouldn't have been talking to somebody else. Get mad. That's how I feel. The lady, she was not right in the head anyway, but the fact that he was still talking to other people, talked to another woman. We don't know if it was other women, but we know for sure it was one woman that he was still talking to that was outside of his marriage. Okay, let's see who else we got. I'm just like, let me see. Scroll down. The reporter, Ben Park, Mr. Park. He was a hot mess too. I love Ben. Ben was a go-getter. It did not matter to him who he had to burn to get to. This is the thing I don't like about reporters. Reporters don't care about people. No, I'm not saying all. I'm just saying for the majority of it, and maybe this is stereotyping, but more times than not, the reporters don't care about you. They will burn every single bridge, every single person. They will burn people that didn't even have anything to do with the situation just because they were even a friend connected to that person, or because they even said hello to them one time in the grocery store. They're all over their lives trying to make their story sound better. But I really wish that we had more, because I was really intrigued with Ben Park's storyline almost more than anyone else's storyline, to be honest with you. His was so interesting, and seeing, because this does happen in real life, people doing what Ben was doing to get to the top, to get to what he wanted to do. And so his story was actually, to me, the most interesting. So for those who haven't watched Clickbait yet, episode 5, The Reporter, is really good because we get to see Ben Park and even just his personality and craziness. I loved it. He was special. He was exciting, excitable. I loved it. Ben's partner, though, like I said, his whole storyline was very interesting. And even his partner, I wasn't annoyed with Ben, and I wasn't annoyed with Ben's partner, because you got to see both sides of it. You started to actually become a little bit annoyed with, or a little bit upset with Ben's character, and more taking the side of Ben's partner. Because Ben's partner was, unfortunately, it was an opposites attract kind of situation. It was working until it wasn't working. Ben was ruthless and very selfish. His partner was cautious, hesitant, selfless, actually cared about people. So it just, I don't know. But it was one of the most interesting episodes. And then we have The Brother, episode 6. How he played it out, y'all should have watched the episodes, watched the show already. I'm not a person that will spend 20 minutes summarizing the entire show. That's not what this is. The Brother was also a really good episode. The episode itself was very captivating because we got to see how it actually came about that Nick Brewer was sitting in front of a camera holding up all these signs. We got to see what happened before and what actually happened after. Because during this part of it, we're like, okay, the brother did it. Well, with what we have seen so far, we are now convinced that, it was the brother that did it. And then until we see that he actually was humbled himself and was like, yes, I did every single thing that you guys are saying, but what I didn't do was kill him. I actually let him go. So this whole show is something I was I wouldn't watch it again because I don't normally rewatch shows because I have too many other shows that I want to start and finish. So, but it was the way that they had the show was really good. I literally binge watched the show. I didn't stop it. I watched it all in one setting. And the show, that's how good it is that's what it's gonna do. You don't get disappointed. The show is written so well that literally any character could have killed Nick Brewer. I'm just saying. Because we've seen movies where it's the reporter gets involved and stuff like that, and it turns out the reporter did it. He could have did it. Nick's friend could have done it. Let me see. We should have got a little side swipe of Nick's friend Matt. the dirtiest of them all. Oh, goodness gracious. He should have been killed, too. I mean, Nick, I'm glad that they wasn't like, oh, yeah, we found him. No, he should have stayed dead. Well, he did stay dead. Matt should have ended up dead and should have stayed dead. Matt was dirty, filthy, disgusting. Ooh. And he just didn't like, even just having him in these other parts, he was annoying. Matt was probably the most annoying person in the show, to be honest with you. Because each time he came up, I was just annoyed. I was like irritated, like, oh god, I wish I could skip it. He was irritating to me. The brother, like I said, I like the brother. The son episode. All these people in this show lied. Ain't nobody tell the truth. Everyone done lied. Peter lied. Roshan, he told some lies too. I can't remember which one, but I know every single person lied up in this show. The son, he done lied about where he was. But the mama should have got his butt when he decided to disappear for I don't know how long. But anyway, he figured out that his father was innocent, that Miss Beasley didn't actually meet him and all this other kind of stuff or whatever. The episode of The Sun was okay. I just like the part where everything was coming together. They were researching with him and his friend. I can't remember what the girl's name was. But she was cool people. I actually liked her too. So that was interesting. Let's see. The Answer. Now, that was a really good, I don't know if I would say that the entire thing. It's like certain episodes, there's like only certain parts that was like really good. Otherwise, it's just like kind of like long and drawn out or whatever. But when they was trying to find it, Mama Bear was like, "You better find my son. I will go out there and find. I will go head to head with these people. I want my son. Give me my son back." Ooh, the little boy. Now, okay, the son. Okay, but I think they should have did it to where it was the younger son, because the younger son was, to me, more interesting and fearless than his big brother. This kid showed up to the people's house with a bat. I was like, yes. He had like balls. Like seriously, like I don't even, I mean, stupid, but brave, you know? I don't know. And then they, all in all, everything works out. They get this kid back because at first he was kidnapped, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, overall, the show was good. It was very interesting. It was entertaining. I was on the edge of my seat. I couldn't stop watching it. Mainly because my sister and mom had started watching it. And I was like, oh, I gotta hurry up and finish this, because then they're gonna like... But at the end of the day, I think what we learned of this was... Nick was wrong. He stole his fate. No one can change my mind, get mad, talk about me. Nick was wrong. He did something he shouldn't have been doing. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, I'm not saying that none of this would happen, but sis was still talking to another woman about some bikinis or whatever, and that person was outside his marriage. You don't talk to no other woman about a bikini when you were married. Okay. I'm just saying that what we learned was it was Nick's fault. But anyway, the show was good. I recommend the show. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a great day. If you are having a not so great day, it's okay to not have a not so great day. But just remember that there's always someone who is having a worse day and experience that you are. So keep that in mind. Keep your head held high. Stay safe. Don't be idiots. Social distance. Wear a mask. If you want to, double mask and be extra safe. And have a great day. See you guys next time. Bye.